Bun Cha Hanoi is one of the most iconic Northern Vietnamese dishes and has been around since the early 20th century. You could commonly find it in street corners or tucked in narrow alleyways from street vendors selling it around lunchtime. And for most of its history, this dish was really only known and loved by locals for its balance of flavors between the smoky and savory charred meats, the sweet and tangy dipping broth, and all the aromatic herbs and veggies paired with it. But in 2016, President Barack Obama and Anthony Bourdain visited a small restaurant called Bún Chả Hương Liên and shared a meal together that would later be featured on Anthony Bourdain's show, Parts Unknown. And that legendary moment catapulted this humble dish to the global stage. And today you can often find Bún Chả in Vietnamese restaurants all around the world, often referred to as Obama noodles or Combo Obama. And to me, what's incredible about Bun Cha Hanoi is that it can tell a story without needing any words. A story of a country, of people, and the power that food has to connect us all. So do me a favor and make sure you like, comment, share, and save this video. Alright, y'all, remember to wash your hands. Now the first thing we'll do is quickly make our pickled veggies, and we'll start by peeling a small green papaya and a large carrot. Then we'll cut our veggies into bite-sized slices, and for the green papaya, we'll cut it in half first, get rid of all the seeds, and then I like cutting them into quarters before cutting it into spears. And then from here, we'll just slice the papaya up. And for this recipe, we only need about half of this green papaya. And for our carrots, there's no special preparation required, so we'll just cut these into coins. Once our veg is all cut up, I'm gonna get them into a colander and then toss them with a little bit of kosher salt to draw out some of its moisture. We'll let our veg sit for about 15 minutes, and then we'll rinse away all the excess salt and let that drain. Then for our pickling liquid, we'll combine equal parts sugar, white vinegar, and filtered water. And for this recipe, I'm using about a quarter cup of each. We'll give that a good mix, making sure that the sugar is fully dissolved. Next, we're gonna move our veggies into a container, pour over that pickling liquid, and let this vibe out in the fridge while we prep the rest of our ingredients. And next up is making our pork meatballs or patties. Now to a food processor, I have a pound of partially frozen ground pork. And I'm just gonna blend this to help break down some of the muscle fibers, giving us a bouncier meatball later. And my food processor is on the smaller side, so I'm doing this in batches. Now we'll get all of our ground pork into a mixing bowl. Add in a couple tablespoons of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, a tablespoon of dark soy sauce for the color, and a tablespoon of regular soy sauce for the flavor. Now to that, I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of my very own deer mumfish sauce that we just launched. Then to balance out all the salty and savory notes, we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of honey. We'll round out our meatballs with a pinch of MSG and a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. Then we'll get some gloves on and give that a good mix, making sure that all the ingredients and seasonings are evenly distributed. And if you like this recipe and you want to learn how to make more of your favorite Vietnamese and Asian dishes, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay up to date on all my latest posts. Now I'm going to let our meatball mixture vibe out in the fridge and we'll finish our prep work. Now to pair with our meatballs, we'll need some noodles, and to cook our rice vermicelli noodles, I have a big pot of boiling salted water, and we'll just cook these noodles for 6 minutes. After those initial 6 minutes, remove the pot from the heat, put on a lid, and we'll let the noodles sit in the hot water for another 6 minutes to finish cooking. After that, we'll drain and rinse the noodles with cold water to stop the cooking process. Then we're going to toss the noodles with a little bit of oil to help prevent the noodles from sticking together, and once that's done, we'll set that to the side. Next I have an English cucumber, and we'll just slice that up on a slight bias. And we're also serving our Bun Cha Hanoi with some lettuce, cilantro, and mint, so just make sure that you give that a quick rinse now as well. Now the last thing we have to do before we cook our meatballs is to make our fish sauce dipping sauce. So to a big bowl, I'm going to combine a 1/3 cup of sugar with an equal amount of my Dear Mom fish sauce. And to that, we'll add in 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Then I have a tablespoon of minced garlic and a couple of chopped Thai chilies. Then I'm going to bring up 2 cups of water to a boil, and we'll pour that into our sauce when we're ready to eat. Give that a good mix, making sure that all the sugar is fully dissolved. And if you're interested in trying my Dear Mom fish sauce, we just launched nationally, and I'll have details in the caption below on how you can get your own. Now with that done, we'll go back to form our meatballs and grill them up. And for this recipe, depending on the size of each one, you should be able to make about 16 to 18 small patties. So first we'll get a little bit of oil onto our hands so that the pork mixture doesn't stick, and we'll just form nice little meatballs. Then using the palm of your hands, we'll just flatten them slightly to form our patties. Once you have all your little patties shaped up, it's time to grill them. Now, traditionally this is done over charcoal, but my apartment complex doesn't allow open fire grills on our balconies, so I'm just using my Weber Lumen today. And alternatively, you can just pan fry or even air fry them as well. Now to make the grilling process a bit easier, I'm using this little Vietnamese handheld grill basket and putting that directly on the grill. These meatballs cook up fairly quickly, only needing about 5 to 7 minutes on each side. Just make sure you get some nice caramelization and that they're cooked to a minimum safe internal temp of 160. And then it's time to plate. Now first, to a serving plate or platter, we'll arrange our veggies, starting with our lettuce. Then we'll layer up some of our sliced cucumbers. Add a handful of cilantro and mint, and of course, some of our noodles. Then to a small bowl, we'll add in some of our fish sauce dipping sauce, drop in our pork meatballs, and some of our pickled veggies. We're gonna garnish our bowl simply with a sprig of cilantro, and just like that, you've made an incredible and authentic Bun Cha Hanoi at home. As always, the recipe and measurements are on my blog at feedtheputch.com. And if you've made it this far, let me know in the comments section, have you ever tried Bun Cha Hanoi before? Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.